without objection, I would like to introduce into the record an article from August 29, 2008. It's a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center about the Black Hebrew Israelites entitled Racist Black Hebrew Israelites Becoming More Militant, and also a 2019 SPLC article describing the New Jersey attack and the militancy of the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Without objection, so ordered. I'm going to introduce into the record, without objection, Daily Beast article, Capitol Police Officer, Trumpist riders call me the N-word dozens of times, and exhibit number B, physically showing the visible surrounding of an officer on January 6th who is down, and a noose, exhibit C, placed by the domestic terrorists on January 6th.
Didn't actually hear back, and so I want to ask you questions that I've asked before. And we also had a meeting, it was a classified meeting with your departments, and I'm still in search of answers. And the answers I'm in search of is that if you have identified who drafted the report, and way more important than the individual, the department, and what was the basis for the report. And I'd like to ask both of you to respond to that.
You're talking specifically about the report regarding black identity extremism?
Black identity extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement officers is the long-winded name of that report.
Right, and so as to who drafted it, I don't have that information with me, certainly. I thought that the meeting that I had with you all and your colleagues, I think it was about 2 hours, I thought was very constructive. I appreciate hearing your concerns. I hope you understood at least how we went about what we did. It all happened before I arrived.
Yes.
That conversation has, I can tell you, prompted us to go back and take a very hard look at how we are bucketing the different categories of domestic terrorism. And I think it's been a useful learning experience for us, and I expect we will see some changes in how we do things going forward.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Deputy Rosenstein, thank you.
I believe you asked me questions about this in December when I was here, and I have no further knowledge of it beyond what Director Ray has, but I do want to assure you that based upon what I've seen of the FBI during my tenure there, when they use the term extremist, the FBI is focused on violence and violations of the law. They're not focused on people who are exercising their First Amendment rights.
So, you know what, when we did meet, I also asked both of you if you were aware of any cases. And that point you said that you weren't, you didn't know of any investigations. But since then, you might be familiar with a case in Dallas where there was a young man who, you know, put some, in my opinion, crazy stuff on his Facebook page, but had no history of violence and wound up being incarcerated for several months. And the Black Identity Extremist document was the basis in which he was arrested. Are either of you familiar with that case?
I'm not.
No? How about you?
I'm not familiar with it, and the FBI's report would not be the basis for prosecuting or arresting.
Not prosecuting. It was the basis from which they, I mean, they labeled him that. And
Not familiar with it.
Okay, so I would ask again, follow-up, I would appreciate it, because my concern that I raised to you then, and I still have that concern, is that until this report is retracted and clarification is made to thousands of police agencies around the country, that report can be used, especially if you have, when my concern is young African-American activists who might protest police violence, you know. According to an August 17th FBI intelligence assessment titled Black Identity Extremists Likely Motivated to Target Law Enforcement Officers, quote, it is very likely that Black identity extremist perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in retaliatory violence. So I've tried to get to the bottom of where this report came from, who did it, what its status is. I've asked Attorney General Sessions, I've asked Director Ray, and so now I want to ask you. Did you order the FBI to conduct this assessment?
Sorry, what was the date?
August 2017, August of this year.
No, I did not.
Do you know who authored the report? Are you familiar with the report?
Not familiar with the report. I'm familiar with the general issue.
And so maybe you could talk a little bit about the general issue,
Yes.
in particular, when the FBI began tracking black identity extremism?
I think it's important for me to explain, Congresswoman, that the FBI does not make a determination with regard to domestic groups to investigate them based upon their First Amendment views or their affiliation. It bases its decisions on evidence of a propensity to violence. So with regard to members of any ideology, domestically, the FBI would only be investigating if there were some
Do
indication.
you believe that there's a political movement in the country called black identity extremism?
I don't believe the FBI intends that to encompass a particular political movement. What they do is they try to categorize different threats that they identify.
So you said investigate, but before you do an investigation, there's surveillance, correct?
Generally, no, there may need to be a determination first that there was a basis for an investigation, typically before any surveillance.
So how does that determination take place, and where has it taken place?
If you want details, I need to get back to you, but the FBI does have very strict guidelines. As you know, several decades ago, there was quite a bit of controversy about this issue, and the FBI has very detailed guidelines for when they initiate investigations, and I'm not aware of any departure from those guidelines.
Shalom. Call halal Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, who rule well, who taught me this truth. Enough respect and salutations to the fellow Akim, the house of David, the hopefully elect. Peace to the fervent brothers on fire pushing this truth. Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, broke a thumb to you, Akim, as well as the sincere Akwat that are listening and learning. This is your brother Yahawah from the Birmingham branch coming to you again with this 100% doctrine. And you had 3 video clips that I played here. More recent one being first, and the latest one, which you see on the screen now. All right, the first one that got this thing started. And this simply is pretty much what they're doing, you know, is COINTELPRO. All right, and this is part 2. You see? And basically, which we got it right here. All right, Wikipedia. All right, I'm gonna read a little bit of this. Lord willing, this will be edifying and comforting lesson. All right, to the Akim and the Akwaf. All right, that are listening. It says COINTELPRO. All right, syllabolic abbreviation derived from the counterintelligence program. 1956 to what? Unknown. That means it's still alive and well today, as is the Holy Scriptures. It says was a series of covert and illegal projects conducted by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, aimed at surveillance, infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting domestic American political organizations. See, anything and any time that there's a threat to their agenda, all right, which means these puppets, these congressmen, these committees, all right, the ones that you deem to vote for, they come out with a COINTELPRO program. It says FBI records show COINTEL resources targeted groups and individuals by FBI deemed subversive, including feminists. So you throw that out the window, women, feminist organizations, all right, which is a feminist organization we can call off the top of our head is what? BLM. It's not about the men, okay? It says the Communist Party, USA, anti-Vietnam War organizers, which, you know, they create the narrative, they create the problem, all right, such as what? War on terrorists, war on drugs, war on the COVID. Then they put it into play, you know? Activists of the civil rights movement or Black Power movement. Now here it is, when you're an activist just for a civil right, not a human right, but a civil right, these devils has to pretty much infiltrate you, you know. And we got this proof here. All right, let's check the top out. This is 1970 counterintelligence program. Black nationalist hate groups, racial intelligence, Black Panther Party. So this is nothing but a COINTEL 2 project, what they're doing. All right? Check this out. COINTELPRO memo proposing a plan to expose the pregnancy of actress Jean Seberg, a financial supporter of the Black Panther Party, hoping to possibly cause her embarrassment or tarnish her image with the general public. Covert campaigns to publicly discredit activists and destroy their interpersonal relationships were a common tactic used by COINTELPRO agencies. So you have these so-called speakers of Israel coming out, such as Nick Cannon last year, Ice Cube. You have people speaking out against the LGBT, these so-called rappers and entertainers and entrepreneurs, all right, of the so-called African-American community. But when they speak against these things, they get blackballed, all right? They get showed the door, basically, unless they apologize, make a public apology, all right, and retract what they said. That's simply, all right, COINTELPRO. Don't ever think that these people are not watching, all right, you. And guess who Jean Seberg was? So-called white woman, all right? So-called white woman. And she probably was pregnant by a so-called, all right, black man. All right, but nevertheless, that does not avert the COINTELPRO 2. Because this is COINTELPRO 1 during the 70s with the Black Panther Party, so-called, with the civil rights, animal. And it goes to show, you can go into it. We're going to get into these scriptures, Lord will, again. This will be edifying and comforting because it's time to stop, living in your luxurious and comfortable ways, your convenient ways. All right, you have these people advertising the Passover, all right, not knowing that that's a solemn assembly, all right, and this is a serious event. You see, all jokes aside, right? But nevertheless, you're going to have people in Israel continuing as they were, all right, since we exited out of Egypt. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. And the unfortunate fact about that is some of our Israelite brothers, sisters, and heads of Israel, heads of these camps, heads of these organizations, they're still continuing as a child. You're just like your father, the devil. All right, you're a murderer and a liar and a thief. It says, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. Meaning what? You repented. You turn back to the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind. That means you're no longer acting like your father, the devil. That means you're following the ways of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, which makes you a true Christian. You see? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11. This is verse 10. And matter of fact, let's read 9. It says, rejoice, O young man, in thy youth. You see that? In thy youth. And let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth. Okay? And walk in the ways of thine heart and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things the Most High will bring thee into judgment. So again, the Lord is telling you, rejoice, man. If you want to, go ahead. You want to party it up, go ahead. You want to make an invitation for all to come to the Passover, go ahead. But on the left-hand side, these devils are gathering COINTELPRO evidence, man. That you're under surveillance, man. The Southern Poverty Law Center tells you that, man. It says 1958 to when? 1956, Salakia. 1956 until unknown. So this is an ongoing thing. By their laws and by their policies, they come up against Israel without a cause. All right? So you people out here, being childish and continuing in your childish ways, the Lord said that for all these things, the Most High will bring thee into judgment. So what you have to do, verse 10 tells you, therefore remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh. For childhood and youth are vanity. You see that? You still getting edge ups. You still want to look good. You still want to dress a certain way. which is nothing wrong with that. But if you're not doing it in the spirit of the Lord, all right, then you're going off. All right, what's about to take place on this planet Earth is something that you have never seen a day in your life. You've never seen it on a movie, all right? You never seen it on a TV program. You never thought about it in your wildest dreams. All right, nevertheless, the word of the Lord is about to come forth, man. It's not prolonged anymore. Proverbs 11 and Proverbs 1 and 11. Proverbs 1 and 11, it says, if they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without a cause. And this is what you got going on, man. All right, no matter how many committees and hearings they have with the FBI and their so-called domestic terrorism threat that they deem to have, right? They coming up against the Israelites without a cause. The African, it's some way, somehow, they're going to, push in the so-called Negro, the so-called Latino, the so-called Native. All right, the Israelites. We at the butt of everybody's joke. We at the butt of everybody's story these days. You know? Why? Because it has reached, this word has reached into the gates of the nobles. And again, letting you know this is no old thing, man. All right, that they come up with the innocent without a cause, man. All right, so-called First Amendment. You're just speaking as an activist, but they want to pretty much investigate violence. Well, particularly here at GMS, I can't say we don't have no history of no violence. All right, maybe got a ticket or two, but that's not in the violation of the law. You see, Proverbs 1 and 13 says, let us swallow them up alive as the grave. So when we tell you that, all right, you're living, but we're alive, well, we have the breath of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. We pray to the Lord that he does not take the spirit away from us. Okay? But you're alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. And that pit we're in is Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, U.S. of the A. But this has been these devils' plan the whole long. Get rid of Israel. Just get rid of them. We don't want no parts of it. But again, you put away your childish ways. You put away your folly. You put away the mirth. All right? Because these times coming up on us is going to be hard. All right? It's going to be continuous. All right? It's going to feel like there's no end. But the Lord is going to look out and set up a standard for his elect. And pray that you're a part of that. This is Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Okay, well, if the devil is going to cast you into prison, why he just don't take you down there to Hades, to the hell that's burning in fire, man? Why is it speaking of the devil? Because it's the spiritual counterpart of the physical demon Satan. That's who the devil is. All right? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You see? These people have made laws, continuous, long-lasting laws, house bills that will continue to keep you oppressed. And you have no way out. No, the only way out is the Redeemer, by the way of the Redeemer, which is YAHAWASHI. All right? It says, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. Because the Lord is going to test each and every one of us. All right? You come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. And that's a, hey man, that's a law. Prepare, thy soul for temptation. You know what I'm saying? That's a law, man. He's telling you, get ready. All right? And we're telling you, all right, from the apostles of the great millstone on down, we're letting you know, get ready. It says, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days for a period, amount of time, all right, a certain period of time. It says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So YAHAWASHI might string it out, all right? He might ring it out to your last little breath, and then, boom, pop up and put up a standard for you, man, and give you the spiritual powers, all right, to avenge the adversaries and the enemies. All right, so you don't know how this thing is gonna play out. That's why we're letting you know, hey, stop all with that bullshit. All right, cut the fucking bullshit out, man. All right, this is a serious matter here, man. All right, do I want to be walking over the bodies that I know? No. Do I want to be walking over the bodies that disobeyed the gospel, the testimony of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI? Well, if it may be, it's gonna be so. It's no time to look back at that when they had their time of repentance. You understand? This is the book of John. Let's go to St. John. Chapter 15 and 25. It reads, but this cometh to pass. It's going to come to pass. All right, that's the point. All right, the prophecies are undefeated. The curses are undefeated. And when the Lord says something, it said, if he said it's going to be done, if it ain't already done. All right, but this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. Well, we just went over some of their laws that they're conjuring up. It says, they hated me without a cause. This is why this lesson is called COINTELPRO 2. You know? And they let you know. And there are documents drawn up, and there are legislations and their policies they have drawn up, which is free to the public, some of them, if they're not classified. You can see that this devil hated us without a cause. And the scripture tells us that the world hated me. If the world hated you, just know that it hated me first. This is YAHAWASHI. This is our Savior, man. It says they hated me without a cause. You understand that? It says, let's continue. Verse 26. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of the truth. It said from the Father. So if the Spirit come up on you, that's from the Father. All right, through his Son YAHAWASHI, man. All right, YAHAWASHI come unto you. That's from the Father, through the Spirit of the QADASH. Beautiful. Which proceeded from the Father. He says, even the Spirit. You see that? The Spirit is the Word. Come on, man. That quickening. It says, which proceeded from the Father, he shall testify of me. And this is what they're afraid of. These people are fucking afraid, man. All right, not her per se. She's on the all right, side of well, shit. She's in the bed with the enemy, man. All right, because there's no gray areas in this truth. There's no straddling the fence. It's either you with us or you against us. It's either you hate YAHAWASHI or you love him. And if you love him, you'll be feeding the sheep. You'll be walking in the ways that are right. You know? It says, verse 27, John 15 and 27, and ye also shall bear witness, because ye have been with me from the beginning. So you have a certain remnant of men bearing witness. You have a certain remnant of men are testifying of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. All right? And there is no stopping us. All right? But YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. There is no threatening us. All right? But from YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. That's who we fear. That's who we're afraid of. You see? We're not afraid of man. We're not afraid of your draconian laws, your draconian measures. We're not afraid of your policies, even though you destroyed many by that. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Daniel. This is Daniel chapter 8, verse 20. I'm starting at 24. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. All right, and when you read a couple of chapters before this, mainly in 7, it's talking about Alexander the Great. But he's a descendant from Philip the Macedonian, which is an Edomite. You see? So who was ever after Alexander, him and his constituents, his fellow generals, they're Edomites also. They're not done away with. All right? And the next verse will explain that thoroughly. It will give you that in detail. All right. First of all, they shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. All right. Verse 25, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. By what policies? The one we highlight today is the COINTELPRO. You see? And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Yeah, how are you telling you by peace he shall destroy many? He gives you a right to speak what you want to speak, say what you want to say. But if anybody got anything to do with violence, then I got your ass. And that's those snares. He's lurking. All right? It says he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And Yahawashi is about to put in the work, man. You know? He destroyed the holy people. All right? He tried to. All right? But Yahawashi has given us that new life, that new breath. All right? And he's letting us know he is Lord of lords, King of kings, Prince of princes. And we are his people. You know? So we follow according to his words. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8, it says, for thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Yahawashi of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. And this is why completely they haven't came down with that wrath just yet. But he's back up into a corner, man. He has no other diversion to turn to. He's going to come out with that sword, man. All right? And his eyes privily set up on the poor. So don't think by one, second that you are celebrating this day, and tomorrow you never know where you're going to kick in your door, man. That's why you're supposed to be in an austere set of mind. You're supposed to be in a watchful, all right, mindset, man. Trying to see what's coming, what's taking place, what just took place, all right? What's the build up to that, or what's about to take place from that build up. So you'll know, so you can warn the people of that sword coming. You see? Simple said and put, man. Verse 9, it says, for behold, I will shake mine hand upon them. He's going to be taken. It says, and they shall be a spoil to their servants, and ye shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me. Yahawashi, man. So these things are going to soon take place. Let's end it off in the book of Psalms. These things are going to soon take place, man. All right, where the devil is going to come down, the flood is going to breach. All right, your sandbag house. you thought you had sweet Jeebus up there. You screaming out, save me, save me. Hey, but the Lord is not going to help, man. He's going to turn his face, man. You don't want to be in that, because you've been what? Living as a child. You've been living as your youth. You've been living it up. You only live once type shit. Come on, man. Psalms 17, verse 8. It says, keep me as the apple of the eye. You see? So we're here, hey, this is a prayer, man. Keep me as the apple of thy eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings. And what's come with his wings, man? Healing. First by the water of the word of the water, all right? And then by him returning. You understand? It says, verse 9, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies. Motherfuckers, hey, they are deadly. Their eyes are privily set up on the poor. It says, who compares me about? They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. You see? They're protected by their own laws and legislations. They are protected by their own armies, their own teeth, iron teeth. You see? They got something that'll blow your back out from where they stay at. Inside joke. It says 11, they have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. How are they doing that, man? Through their satellites, through their intel pros, the COINTELPROs. You think they ain't got a drone out there hovering over all the camps? All right? And for you unbelievers out there, for every drone they got, ain't no telling how many chariots around that, man. That's protecting us, man. You know, Lord will, we understand that. We know that. You know, when 2 or 3 gather, hey, who is in the midst of thereof, man? All right? The chariots that camp around about us, man. So again, let's read that Psalm 17:11. They have now compassed us in our steps. Yeah, because they know the step you about to take before you take it. They know what you finna spend before you spend it. They know your last move. Google Maps. They know where you daily routine at. That shit come up in your emails, man, your apps, man. All right? These motherfuckers got every eye upon everybody that you think you know and that you don't know. Says they have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Because, hey, hardly anybody look up today. What they got going on? You looking down at your cell phone. What's on social media? How many TikToks you watch within a 30-minute span? All right? Y'all people are lost. It says, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So we understand that the blessing that Isaac gave Esau comes from on high. His power is given to him by our power. So who you should be fearing? Verse 14, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world. And that's a range. You see? From the heathen to our own people. It says, which have their portion in this life. See there? Steve Harvey. And whose belly thou fillest with thy head treasure. They are full of children, and they leave the rest of their substance to their babes. As for me, and this is for the elect, man, the hopefully elect. As for us, that's what it should say. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. And that's the key. Your last breath about to be drawn out by the enemy. By him putting you to death, the Lord might just put up that standard in his life. Quickening like a twinkling. Don't underestimate the power of the Lord. This has been COINTELPRO 2. Shalom. On to the next one.